I can't hear them.
Hello? Do you guys hear me? Oh, hold on one second. We're having difficulties with the audio. Ladies, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't know what happened to T Baby. Um, T Baby, come back up in a little bit, babe. If you hear me in the chat. Wait, I wanted to put it this way. Okay. 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 Hello, 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 everyone. Sorry about this. Had a little technical difficulty with the audio, y'all. But can everybody hear me in the chat? Put a one, please. Thank you. Okay. Do they hear me? Do you guys hear me? Please put a one in the chat. Okay. Thank you. Okay. See. All right. I had to. Okay. From the studio. No. Okay. All right. Here we go. Hello, Miss Esquire.
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right, audio's back on. Okay, guys, I apologize. All right, so everyone was able to hear my guest as well. Please put a one in the chat if you heard her, please. I want to make sure the audio is correct. There's no echo, and we're good. You're welcome. Hello, 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 once again in the chat. Hello to everyone. Okay, T Baby is saying that your device is not connected. I guess you have to connect your audio or something. Okay. I don't know what happened with T Baby. T Baby, if you hear me, I don't know if you can hear me, baby. If you want, come back up in a few. Okay. All right. Okay. So you able to hear everybody? Awesome, guys. Thank you. Well, once again, hello everybody. Hello, Miss Esquire. How are you? Hopefully you had a good week since we last seen you. It's a pleasure to have you back. My people are very, very excited to have you on here. And they have lots and lots of questions. I'm waiting for some more people, I guess, to get up in here. Everyone, to let you know, please hit that like button while you are here. Jump out of the chat, hit the like button, please. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. And if anyone would like to make any donations, the Cash App is on the bottom of the screen. You can Cash App me at Diva Divine Light, or you can PayPal me at Diva Divine Light. And donations are welcome for my guest and myself. All right, all right. Guys, are you guys ready? Okay, so what I'm going to do is right now in the moment, I'll let Miss Esquire just say hello to everyone, just to greet everybody, say hello. And once again, let them know who you are.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. My name is Felicia Pearson, but I am here on YouTube as Empowered Esquire TV. I am an attorney, an entrepreneur, an educator, and a legal nerd. So I come on YouTube to share my knowledge, talk about some pop culture cases, but really I use them as a way to teach the law so that we're armed with the knowledge of, how to navigate the legal system.
Thank you for that. And T Baby, you can introduce yourself as well and let them know what you will be talking about at the end of the live.
Hello, everybody. This is T Baby. I'm going to be talking about my nonprofit called Black Talented Sisters, and an upcoming event that I'll be having in July, which Diva's already announced that her beautiful daughter is going to be a part of. And excuse my voice because I lost it today. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys some additional information at the end of the live.
Thank you, T baby. And yes, please support our sisters. Um, in the description box, Miss Esquire's link to her YouTube channel is there if you guys would like to follow her because you are interested in the law, not just R. Kelly. Okay, because her page is not an R. Kelly page. Her page is about law, lessons in law. That's what she does, y'all. Okay, we don't need nobody harassing her and doing extra stuff. Okay, she's a professional and we appreciate her. Once again, thank you, Miss Esquire. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to play her video because we had watched it the last time where she explained the indictments, the federal Illinois and the Eastern District of New York indictments. Now, in this part of her segment, I cut it short so that I could specifically leave it for this live. And she talks a little bit about what was updated as far as what was going on with the lawyers. And then from there, the link to the StreamYard is pinned in the chat. Okay, so after I finish the video, if she wants to explain a little bit about what she was, talking about in that segment, that would be great. And then from there, we can start with people jumping on the panel to ask questions. Okay, sounds great. All right,
Sounds
guys,
good.
let me set it up. All right. Let me share my screen.
Filed in R. Kelly's case and talk about what could be happening behind the scenes that is causing a lot of the talk and the hubbub with R. Kelly's case right now. All right, so let's do that. You guys know I have everything queued up for you. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll hit the queue. We'll go full screen. Let's start with, which one do I want to start with? I actually want to start with this article here. So the title of this article is "Two Lawyers Removed from R. Kelly's Case 2 months before federal trial." So with 2 months before R. Kelly is due to stand trial in Brooklyn for racketeering and mex trafficking, two of his top lawyers reportedly no longer want to represent him. Interesting. I mean, which attorney would turn down this kind of prestige, right? Well, let's see. Steve Greenberg and Michael Leonard filed a request to withdraw from the case on Monday, June 7th. The attorneys told a judge during a status conference on Wednesday, June 9th, that they did not want to represent Kelly and cited an alleged lack of cooperation from his other two lawyers. And this is a direct quote from Greenberg. "Everyone wants to do the opening. Everyone wants to do the closing. And that just can't be," Greenberg explained. "It got to the point where we went to discuss these concerns with Mr. Kelly, and Mr. Kelly wouldn't meet with us." Let's pause for a moment. So Greenberg and Leonard seem to be throwing the other attorneys under the bus, right? In my humble opinion, by saying that the other attorneys aren't working with them. But notice that Greenberg says that Mr. Kelly, R. Kelly, is refusing to meet with them, right? He won't meet with them. So here's the thing. When you have celebrities who are having these high profile cases, right, with this much prison time, you always have a team of attorneys. If you want to go back a little blast from the past, think OJ, right? OJ had a team. These celebrities will always have a team of attorneys. That's not new. And usually these attorneys work together. It is very, very usual for a celebrity to have a team, and very, very usual for that team to break down what everyone is doing, right? So for example, one attorney does the opening, another does the closing, one attorney does the examination of a certain witness, right? But here's the thing. Whenever there is a squabble between the attorneys as to who is doing what, ultimately, the decision is given to the client. So even though Greenberg and Leonard are throwing the other attorneys under the bus, it comes down to the fact that it sounds like, allegedly, R. Kelly is refusing to make decisions. Because at the end of the day, R. Kelly makes the ultimate decision, right? So he's refusing to meet with his attorneys, allegedly, and refusing to make decisions that are extremely important in his case. Okay. So they then go on to say another defense attorney, Thomas Farinella, claimed that Kelly had actually decided to let Greenberg and Leonard go. He does not wish to have Mr. Greenberg or Mr. Leonard represent him, Farinella said. Greenberg claimed that he received a document from someone claiming to be the power of attorney for Kelly, and that he attempted to meet with Kelly twice, but he refused. So again, it is usual for a team of attorneys with all these different egos to have squabbles. But at the end of the day, the client is in control. The client is supposed to be making decisions. So what we're hearing is what? R. Kelly was refusing to make decisions. Okay. So then Greenberg says he received an email from R. Kelly saying that he did not want to continue working with him. Judge Ann Donnelly ordered that Greenberg and Leonard submit their grievances in writing to the court. The judge then said, while we realize that this request comes close to trial, and although we are ready to proceed to trial as scheduled in August, our reasons for withdrawal are significant. Oh, excuse me, this is Greenberg, not the judge. And it is impossible, in our belief, for us to be able to continue to properly represent Mr. Kelly under the current circumstances. And that, my people, is the gist of it. Whenever you see an attorney withdraw from a case, it is usually because that attorney feels that they cannot do their job. And usually because they feel they cannot do their job because their client won't cooperate. That is usually what's going on behind the curtain, okay? So one more article I'm going to look at. This is federal judge in Brooklyn sets conflict of interest hearing in R. Kelly case. So here you have more drama could be brewing for R. Kelly's legal team, as a federal judge in Brooklyn on Friday scheduled a hearing typically meant to determine whether a lawyer has a conflict of interest in a case. The judge did not explain what prompted the hearing, but she had previously ordered Kelly's Chicago-based attorneys to file a letter under seal explaining why they decided earlier this week to withdraw from Kelly's racketeering case in Brooklyn. So what does that mean? Well, that means the judge is requesting that these two attorneys who withdrew send her a letter that she's not going to, publicly release. It'll be under seal. So it'll be for her eyes only, right? Explaining why they decided to withdraw. Now, she may be wondering what is going on these team of attorneys. She may have concerns that these attorneys are withdrawing because there are things that are happening that could be violating Kelly's rights, right? So maybe she has some concerns that some of these attorneys are not communicating properly. Maybe she has some concerns that some of these attorneys have ulterior motives. So that may be what she wants to know. She may want to know, hey, what is it that's going on there? Why are you withdrawing? Is there something that could cause me to have a mistrial here? Are there some constitutional rights as far as effective assistance of counsel, right? So having effective lawyers. Is there something going on here in which R. Kelly might not be actually getting effective counsel? Is there something going on that I need to know about? That is pretty much what the judge is saying, okay? And so she set that hearing so that she can have those conversations. And then it says that Greenberg did send her the typical letter, same from the other case, where they say that they believe that it is impossible for them to represent R. Kelly. So I'm going to stop sharing now. I am back in the chat with you all to see if you have any questions. I see there's a conversation going on about Epstein and R. Kelly. Interesting.
Okay, that was interesting. That was funny, Miss Esquire. I love it. So, did you guys get to hear what she was saying about the whole situation with the Curcio and what she thinks would be, what that means? Does everybody understand that? Did everybody get it? So, Miss Esquire, um, now I don't know if you know, but R. Kelly is officially has been transferred to the MCC in Brooklyn. They brought him there this morning, and he's waiting for the Curcio hearing as well as to start his trial in August 9th. He also just got a new attorney that they just put into file as of yesterday. So now with the standby lawyer, I wanted to know, is the standby lawyer still going to be in the case, or was it just in the case until he got a new lawyer?
So usually a standby lawyer is exactly what you were just saying. They're in the case as a standby kind of until someone else is brought on. But you never know. He could always choose to keep the standby lawyer. And I wanted to mention, because I know there was some confusion about whether or not he fired Greenberg and the other lawyer, or whether or not they withdrew and they resigned. And there were even some people who were very upset that I insinuated that they resigned because they felt, well, no, R. Kelly fired them, and it was apparently a big thing for them. So let me clarify this. If a client as high profile as R. Kelly fires someone, they can have one of their other attorneys kind of inform the court either by letter or by appearance or something of that nature of the firing. So what I mean is, if R. Kelly fired Greenberg and that other guy, he could have told the court that. And the fact that it was Greenberg and that other guy who informed the court that they were in fact resigning, that says something. It says something, because in fact, if they were quote unquote fired, then the court could have been told that before they resigned or withdrew, I should say.
Right. Now, in the middle of his hearing, R. Kelly jumped into the conversation and was like, no, I want them fired. And like the judge was like, hold on, wait a minute. You're not supposed to be speaking. Yeah, the judge was like, you're not supposed to be speaking without your lawyer's say so, Mr. Kelly. Can you slow down a minute? So that's when she decided, right? So that's when she decided that he has something he has to say. So she wants to know what he has to say.
I agree with that. I think she's curious if, as I said, there's something going on between these attorneys that could be violating his rights, whether that's just improper communication, or whether that one of them or a few of them might be sabotaging him because they're not getting the roles they want at the trial. You never know. But she may feel like there's something going on that she needs to know about to make sure, as I said, she doesn't get a mistrial or she doesn't get some appeal on her verdict saying that he didn't have proper counsel.
Right. And one of another blogger had Joel Brodsky talking about Greenberg on her channel. And he was saying a lot of interesting things about Greenberg and how Greenberg is such an egomaniac. And for him, it's all about shine and money. And, he was a terrible lawyer on Drew Peterson's case and XYZ. So I think R. Kelly's probably just like, he probably feels that Mr. Greenberg hasn't done enough for him. Like I said, he filed up but so many motions, which matter of fact, me and you will go through one day. I'll we can go through a private screening and I can show you what I have and stuff like that to the pacer. And we can talk about motions that he should have done, motions that he should not have done. And things like that. And then maybe we can come back on the panel and discuss that another day. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
And as far as R. Kelly being transferred, right? There was this whole big thing about him being transferred. Um, Usually, how long when an inmate is being transferred does it take for one department to let the other department know that he's going to get there? Like, is there like a 24-hour?
I
You
laugh
know what I mean?
because people think that our system is much more organized than it is. If people really knew, oh my goodness, I have to laugh because if people really knew how completely disorganized our system is, we would all live in fear. I mean, especially when you're talking about New York City. New York City loses inmates all the time. All the time.
Mm.
So there really is not effective communication as far as, like, for example, when he was transferred to MCC, they would get a notice that he's being transferred. They might get some type of ETA with that notice, and other than that, that's it. Now the fact
And
that
what
he's
is
high
the
profile.
ETA?
What did you say?
What is the ETA?
Oh, it's estimated time of arrival, right? So they may get, along with the notification that he's being transferred, some ETA because he's so high profile. But other than that, that is usually about it. Unless they've gotten much more effective than, back when I was in the criminal law world. No, their communication is terrible. You just get some notice that this person is arriving. You may get some idea of when, and then you're just expecting them every day until they show up.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So last night when they found out that he was being transferred, somebody leaked it that he was being transferred, but they said he was already in the MCC in Brooklyn when in fact he wasn't. But that's just a lot of controversy that goes on in these streets of the YouTube world in this sector. Um, Another thing, remember that someone had left a comment on your page about me doing something illegal?
Yes, I do remember that comment.
Okay, well, I had explained to you, but I'm going to say it again in front of you. Um, I had found those text messages that someone had leaked from his camp, and it was put out publicly. Now, if me having that in possession, is that illegal?
No, so the key word and operative word in what you said is publicly, right? So you
Right,
retrieved it from social media or some other public
right,
source, which means that
right,
you're not culpable or responsible for how it ended up there. Unless, of course, we're talking about something super terrible like, mild pornography. Those of you who
right,
know my terminology,
right,
that kind of
right,
thing, you're always responsible for having. But text
right.
messages and, conversations between folks who it was made public, no, you're not responsible for that.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Thank you. So stop lying. You need to do me a favor and stop lying. Okay? Okay. Thank you for that. Now, you guys who are in the chat, anybody, are we ready to jump on the panel and ask Miss Esquire some questions about the last live? If you are, please hit the link. I pinned it in the chat. It's up at the top of the chat. You should be able to see it. It's highlighted in blue. Anybody who's ready, everybody was all pumped. Let's not start copping out now and being shy. Okay?
There's nothing to be shy about. I don't bite.
Right. And she's got plenty of knowledge. And as I said to you guys before, she is not for R. Kelly and she's not against R. Kelly. She's for the law. Okay? So she's going to give you her honest opinion about the system and how it works and pieces of the puzzle of his case that she can explain to us to where we can understand the case. Okay? I just need to clear that up, guys. All right? So you're going to get an honest opinion. She's not a biased person. Okay? Anybody ready? The link is there, guys. So when you're
I just want
ready,
to say thank you to Diva for saying that about me being here on behalf of the law. I get quite a few people coming onto my channel and taking personally what I'm doing, and it's not at all personal, right? If you watch my format and you watch what I do, I share information, I interpret the law. That's it. Do I have personal opinions? Of course I do. I'm a person, but I keep those for my personal life. That's not what I'm here on YouTube doing. I'm here on YouTube to share the law. That's it.
Thank you for that as well. And thank you for doing that on my channel and sharing your knowledge with the R. Kelly sector. By the way, I have a young lady who's here. Her name is Miss April Showers, and she's a R. Kelly supporter.
Yeah.
Hello, Miss April.
Hey, Diva Divine. And ma'am, I truly enjoy you. I enjoyed your show the other night. And, you weren't biased at all. You read everything, to us. Now, I have a quick question that I want to ask. Um, I am able to look at this case from all angles. Now, when they come back and they say, now Rashonda Landfair is testifying this time. The parents, they're testifying. And of course, we had Sparkle, everybody else. This tore up the family because I never saw the tape, but they said it was him in the tape. Did the government, when they approach them, would it to say that, and they have been following him for 20 years, I got that too. But would there have to be some kind of demands made by the government to say, oh, we got you. Why did you take his money all these years? Or anything to get these people to testify now? And it's just a question.
Interesting. So, if I'm understanding your question, you're saying, is it possible that the government kind of held it over their head that they were taking money allegedly from R. Kelly all of these years? That's your question?
Right. Yes. And
Well,
now all of a sudden, you guys, you have flipped the script because the story that they're given, is that she was supposed to been kept in the garage, and I have my theories, because if somebody would have kept me in the garage when I got out, hell wouldn't have had no fury. But I'm just trying to wonder, did the government have stuff to negotiate to say, oh, you coming through this time?
so it is possible, depending on what conversations were had between this family and R. Kelly, it is possible that if the way they approached R. Kelly could be perceived as extortion, then yes, it is possible that the government came to them and said, we have proof that you really extorted him all of these years. And in exchange for us forgetting about that, you need to testify. We'll give you immunity for your testimony.
Good question, Miss
Thank
April.
you. Thank you.
Is that all you wanted to know, honey?
And basically, this is the same thing with these employees that was around the same thing too. Correct? To get all of these people to come in, right, and testify.
It is possible. It's just as possible as
Okay.
with the family. It is possible if they have, like I said, proof of some type of money being exchanged. They could say it looks to us like you were extorting him, and in exchange for us forgetting about that, there's also the possession of the mild pornography. Because remember, I was telling my audience that the minute you have that on you, it's illegal. So the government may also be using that against them. Hey, you also had possession of these tapes allegedly in order for you to get money in exchange for them. So we will give you immunity for all those things in exchange for your testimony.
Right.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you,
Miss
You're
Diva,
welcome.
Diva, for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You already know. Anytime, Miss April. Anytime. Anybody else? You can step up to the panel. I highlighted the link in the chat. It's highlighted on blue in the top of the chat, guys. I know Miss April isn't the only one. I have 87 people in here who were all pumped and excited to come back. So let's keep jumping, guys. This is what this live was for, to answer questions, because people were saying that I was unfair with their questions. So anybody, please come out the bushes. It's okay. You will not be blocked on site. You can come into the panel. You see, that's why I have an open panel. Okay. And we have Dana J. He's a blogger and he's also a R. Kelly supporter. So hi, Dana.
Hey Diva, how you doing?
Good.
Hello, Esquire.
Hello.
Hey, this is my first time actually speaking, but hello. I really love the way you taking line by line and going step by step. Let me cut my playback down. I have 3 questions actually.
That's fine, Dana. Ask away.
Very short. The first question is, and yes, I am not just a supporter, but a friend of Robert's. But it's some things that I've been looking at in the New York indictment that kind of didn't sit well with me, and it actually had
Dana,
holes in
excuse me, Dana, I'm sorry, excuse me for 1 second. Let me just, excuse me for a moment, pardon me.
Okay.
Miss Lady of Laser, as soon as Dana is done, I will let you on, okay? If you don't mind being patient. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, Dana. Sorry, I just wanted, because Miss Lady of Leisure is backstage. I just wanted to let her know to be patient.
Okay. Well, for the first question that I have is, his charges are spanning out of Chicago. How was New York able to get jurisdiction to have any type of case on him if all his charges are really out of Chicago?
So remember, in the New York indictment, they are sure to say, I believe it's only 1 line, but they are sure to say that they are alleging that some of the transportation of minors and other women for sex trafficking, they were brought from other places to New York. So that is where they're stemming their jurisdiction from. First of all, it's federal. We already know that, right? But they're saying this should be in a federal New York court because some of these victims were brought to New York.
But that got to be something that they have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, right?
Yes, they are going to also have to prove, if they're alleging it in the indictment, yes, beyond a reasonable doubt, they have to prove that. Okay,
because see, I was wondering why the judges didn't, I mean, not the judges, but the previous Showtime lawyers, or I call them court TV lawyer, out of Chicago, why he didn't challenge jurisdiction on it. And because with that being said, that's one of the charges that could have been dropped off. My second question was, when they call for the RICO Act, right? But they calling for the RICO and they saying that he traveled the world just to solicit minors. Well, if that's the case, why the only minors are only traveled to Chicago and New York? That don't make sense if he traveled the world on 12 major tours. So my question for that would be, if that's challenged, right? There's no way. Is it a possible way that they can try to spin that and to make it fit, or they will have to really just let that go?
So I'll say this. What happens in trials in general is that you charge what you think you can prove, right? So even though they're saying in the indictment they believe that he was all over the country and he was all over the world, what they're pretty much saying is, even if we believe he was all over the country and all over the world, we only think we can prove New York and Chicago. That's really what they're saying. And
Okay.
very quickly on what you said about the attorney and why he didn't challenge jurisdiction, it's a different world when you're in federal court, right? So even if he wanted to challenge that they were in a New York federal court, they could just try to push it into some other federal district. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, you don't know what information he is privy to, why he did not
Right.
make that argument. Because maybe he knows something we don't know, right? Because
Right.
if I
That's
were
true.
that attorney, the first thing I'm going to do is talk to my client, right? And I'm going to say, hey, let's have a real conversation about things you may or may not have done in New York. Can I make this argument, or do you know that I should leave it alone? So you never know what conversation was had in private, what information they're privy to that they decided not to make that argument. I will say that when you have the notoriety and the
Hmm.
financial prowess that R. Kelly has, and you said you know him personally, so I'm sure you know he has access to the best of the best, right? So I wouldn't be quick to assume that they're not doing what they should do. I'd be quicker to think they know something I don't know.
Okay. Last question. As far as the banner, right? Is it safe to say that flying a banner targeting the jury to sway in a direction of the accused, is that considered tampering with the jury, and can it be any type of ramifications for that?
It's a sticky question. I think I gave the same answer the first time that it was asked, because if you look at the face of the law, yes, the argument could be made that something like that is meant to tamper with a jury. But realistically, it's something you would have to prove if you made that argument, right? So you'd have to prove that a juror saw this banner, right? Not that the public saw the banner. You would have to prove that an actual juror saw this banner at the time that it was being flown. And the way that I'm imagining it is that it probably happened what during the trial. So did an actual juror see it? So the argument would have to be supported with evidence that a juror in the case actually saw that banner.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Thank y'all
Thank
so
you,
much.
Dana. Okay, Miss Lady of Leisure, you can come back up, sweetheart. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. No, you can get on the panel, baby. Please do come back up, sweetheart. I just want everybody to come up one at a time so that there's no confusion, no jumping in. You know what I mean? And everybody could get their questions out one by one. And, there's listening and talking, not mumbo jumbo and everybody getting crazy at one time. Okay? So you can come back up, Miss Lady of Leisure. Or anyone else, if you want to come and ask questions. Thank you so much, Dana and Miss April, by the way, for getting the party started. That's the way to do it, guys. That's the way to do it. Yes. I hope everybody is listening and understanding where she's coming from. And like I said, she will answer your questions the best to her knowledge that she can, guys. Okay? Don't be scared. Please come on the panel. I pinned the link into the chat. Please feel free to do so. Anyone is welcome. I'm not limiting anybody. Okay? Anyone is welcome. Understand that? I don't care if you're a bed bug supporter, a Debo supporter, a this supporter, or a that supporter. That's what my panel's here for, guys, to answer your questions in ways that I can't. I can only just read indictments and try to break it down the way I can understand it and talk about articles and read articles in the way that I can understand it, as well as books. But we have someone on our team right now that's she's a walking law book. Okay, plenty of knowledge, power. That's great. And like I said, she's not biased, so please, you're more than welcome. Miss Lady of Laser, you can come back up, sweetheart. Ty, she said, do you remember my question from the morning? No, I don't, sweetie. I forgot. That's why I told you guys, email me with your questions if you do not want to come on the panel. I don't understand. You see, this, reading rainbows. Oh, God. I love y'all. But, come on, guys. This is not professional. I wanted this to be smooth and professional. Okay. I'm going in order, Brookie. Hey, Angie. Say hello to Angie. She's our friend. She's our friend and our sister as well. And she's just like you, non-biased, and she's also a lawyer as well. She's practiced law many years ago, I believe. And say hello, Angie.
Hi, Esquire.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I just have one question. I think this will help me with my little exercise that I'm going to do. Sorry, y'all. I went to the doctor earlier. I just got one question. What do you think in this case when you look over everything and you weigh what the defense have to deal with? What do you think about going the route of a justifiable defense?
I can't really see where they would make the argument that. So you're wondering if they could actually admit that he did these things, but then find a way to say that he was justified in doing these things.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see that argument. I don't see where they could. I've only heard successful arguments for justifiable homicide, right? Like someone came at me and I was trying to defend myself, or I have mental illness and I was off my meds, right? That's the only successful, justifiable criminal activity type of argument I've ever heard. I have never
Right. I
heard
didn't say it
someone
was gonna work. I
successfully.
ain't say it was gonna work.
Right, yeah,
I'm reaching. I didn't say it was gonna work.
yeah, it's a reach, and I don't think it would work. I mean,
I'm reaching.
unless now here is the only thing I could think of, Angela. Your name's Angela, right?
Yeah, I can go over that. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I got it right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I have heard many arguments that being a pedophile is like being a sex addict, that you are addicted. So what I'm thinking is the only way that they could try to go for any type of justifiable argument is to prove with psychiatrists and a track record of witnesses that, yes, he has a problem, but he is addicted. And so, yes, he did all these things, but really he's under the ruse of an addiction. It's not him. He can't help himself. And then maybe try to argue that as opposed to prison, he needs treatment. Do I think that argument would work? No. But that's the only type of justified admission of these things, but still getting out of prison that I can see for him.
Right. Okay. All right. That's my question. Thank you, Diva. Thank you, Esquire. Y'all doing a great job.
You're welcome, Mama. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Brookie. This is Brooke, and she's a R. Kelly supporter and also a blogger.
Hello, how are you doing this afternoon, this evening?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. First and foremost, before I even begin, I want to tell you thank you and that it is a breath of fresh air to be able to see an African American woman who is knowledgeable and is able to hang up there in a male dominated, not even just a male, but in a male dominated profession and have so much wit and knowledge. So I want to thank you for that because that's not easy to do. When it comes to this one particular trial, a lot of the stuff that, of course, when we speak upon R. Kelly, it's a lot coming from how we feel, our feelings, or we think this shouldn't happen and we think that shouldn't happen. And we already know that, of course, yes, that is, only hearsay. That's not what's going to be heard in trial. So my question would be, and it's actually probably more of a statement than a question, and maybe I guess if you could respond to it, if you can kind of guess where I'm going. In his New York indictment, it was mentioned the Mann Act, and people can say the Mann Act in different ways, and I kind of don't really have a true understanding of it. But for some of the victims, and I can say the alleged victims, for one of the alleged minors was, I think, number 5. He was in a relationship with her how can he be charged with Mann Act for either her or someone that he has been with for more than a one single time that he said that they all say that they were in relationships? How can he be charged with a Mann Act if they are in a relationship?
So the Mann Act has to do with the transportation of women and girls for sex trafficking. That's pretty much what it is. It was created, I mean, goodness, the first Mann Act was, I think, back in the late 1800s. And it really was to stop people who were taking prostitutes and transporting them and then getting paid for the prostitutes to do whatever they do when they get there. So when you hear the Mann Act, they're pretty much saying he transported these girls for the purpose of prostitution and or some type of sexual activity. That's what they're alleging when you see the Mann Act. Now, if someone was to say they're in a relationship, well, that's fine and dandy. You're in a relationship, right? But if the government is alleging that you were being brought for the purpose of doing illegal sexual activity, it's still the Mann Act. So let's say, for example, it's a minor, right? It's going to be the Mann Act regardless, even if she says that she's in a relationship with this person, because a minor cannot give consent, right? Another example is, let's say this woman was brought from one place to another, and then other people were allowed to have contact with her and money was exchanged. That's prostitution. So even if she says she's in a relationship with the person who brought her there, the Mann Act is still an implication there as well. So I believe the defense is saying, hey, this is not applicable to the Mann Act because there was no prostitution. He was just bringing his girlfriend, who was an adult, with him wherever he went. And that's a defense argument. The government is arguing that some of these women were minors, not all of them were adults, and that even the women who were adults were brought for prostitution purposes. That's their argument.
Okay, so I think I got a bit because basically what you're saying is once, because this has to go to the table. So once it goes to the table, then depending on who argument is strongest is where if they say, okay, well, here's on this Mann Act count, not guilty, depending on if the jury say, well, I don't believe that he took this woman. I just believe it could have been a long distance relationship. And he said, hey, you want to come to my concert? We are together. And then he flies her out. I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm just kind of giving an illusion. He flies her out. She comes to the concert. She spends time with him. And then he goes, on tour somewhere else and whatever. So that argument is more so going to be played directly out in court. Is that kind of more so what you're saying?
Exactly. And it will be who has the stronger evidence, right? So can he prove that he was really just in a relationship with each of these women and everyone was an adult and he's just polygamous, right? Because that's not necessarily a crime if you're not marrying a bunch of different people. And then on the flip side, can the government prove that that's not what it was, that it wasn't consensual relationships, that there was illegal sexual activity going on? So each side is going to have to bring their evidence to the table. We know what the government is proffering, right? We know that they're saying they have text messages, they have conversational proof and FaceTime proof and video proof. So I imagine the defense will try to have kind of the same level of proof as well.
Right. Okay. And then one more question, and then I'm gonna let somebody else come up. Okay. When we have these debates on the internet, and at the time it was Team Truth. They're now One Color, One Voice, Cove. One of my biggest arguments with this particular case, and it was kind of sort of with one of the individuals that is in the Chicago indictment. And for some reason or another, and they can tell you, I've been hooked on it and I'm still hooked on it because I can't understand for the life of me is, and more so, I guess I'm going to try to rephrase it.
May I interrupt you for a second, Brooke?
Yes.
Sorry, honey. Miss Esquire, she's talking about the charges in the state indictment that I sent you.
Okay.
And it's the alleged person I'm speaking upon is Geronda Pace, and the way how her story has came out evolved since from then until now. And my argument with the ladies and gentlemen has always been, how can he, number one, be charged with her when first he already settled out of court with whatever, and then she lied about her age. And a lot of the ladies would say, well, because she was underage, it still wouldn't matter. And by her being underage, that even if she lied and she admitted to lying, he would still be responsible for her. Even if she lied, he would still be responsible if he did something to her, if they found out that she was underage, even though she said that she provided an ID saying she was 18.
So that is correct. To answer your last question first, the adult is responsible for verifying the age of their partner. So even if someone shows me a fake ID and it says they're 18 and I have whatever with them, I can still be prosecuted. Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people don't know that, right? A lot of people are kind of in awe of that, right? But what it comes down to is the letter of the law versus the practical application of the law. Have I ever heard of someone other than R. Kelly being prosecuted when allegedly there was a fake ID shown? No, I've never heard that happening. But
Okay.
legally, it can be done. Legally, the argument can still be made that you are responsible because you're the adult and the other person was not an adult. Now, as far as the settlement is concerned, we had a conversation. You probably missed the last live. We had a conversation about these NDAs and these settlements at Diva's last live that I was here for. And we spoke about contracting with a minor. So I don't know the details of this NDA and this settlement, but if R. Kelly contracted with Jerronda Pace when she was a minor, then that's going to be thrown out, right? Because you can't contract with someone under 18. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is also the law does not view kindly any type of non-disclosure or contract that attempts to help you get away with a crime. It's viewed as a moral exception to the application of contracts. So what I mean by that is the law says if you are trying to stop someone from talking about your criminal activity, we are more likely to disregard that NDA. So what could also happen is that the court could disregard an NDA that's trying to protect someone from being exposed for criminal activity.
Okay, thank you. That kind of gave me a good point on things and how to go, because I think for the most part those were my biggest things. Like I kind of didn't understand or have an understanding, and now it makes sense. And just real quick, this is the last one, I promise.
Go ahead.
One more, and I know you did, and I was in the last live.
Okay,
I was
go ahead, Mama.
for a tad bit. Okay,
I'm sorry,
thank you. I was asleep
there's
for a little
nobody
bit.
waiting, so go ahead. You could go on. One more question, babe.
Okay, so I wanted to ask the question because I think you have answered it, but I think maybe I wanted to kind of reword it a tad bit. This is what I'm asking about is the banner. So I don't know if you don't know it or not, but I'll kind of real quick go over what happened. Is a blogger who has been interfering with the case, who has paid someone a certain amount of money to take a banner, put it on a plane, and fly it in the sky. And I think you did mention something about it, but I'm not for sure if it was clear. I do know that in some states you can't do that, but I don't think it would be considered witness intimidation, but more so of someone trying to put an influence on the trial in that particular city to which the flyer or the stuff is being, swung across in the sky. Would that person like really get in big time trouble? I'm trying to make sure I don't ask you the same thing over, because I don't think that it was really given like far as in a question to get kind of the answer that I'm trying to get out. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I wish I could kind of help you along, but I'm not sure. So I'll try to answer it a different way and hopefully we'll get there. So yes, the person who had this banner flying over the courthouse or whatever, they could potentially be in trouble, right? Now, their defense is, as we know, the First Amendment, right? Your freedom of speech, things like that. And any agency or ADA or anyone who's trying to prosecute them for that would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they intended to try to influence the jury, right? Not the trial, but influence the jury, and also have to show some type of proof that a juror either saw that banner or at the very least could have been reasonably expected to see it. So at the very least, they'd have to prove that the jurors were in the space where they could have seen that banner at the time, that maybe the jurors were out at lunch at that time. That's the very least that they would have to prove to bring that kind of case. And I think it to be not the strongest case to make, because the First Amendment is a very broad protection.
Give me a
Okay.
second. Too strong.
Okay, I think I got it. I think I got the I think I got what you're trying to say, because we won't know that it would be a crime until after the fact, because of course the case hasn't started yet. But if they were to fly it while he's in court, then that could be something that somebody can bring up, or a prosecutor can say, hey, look what somebody did, da 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 da, is going to influence the jurors and all that. Okay, I got what you're saying.
Exactly. And they have to
Okay.
prove some level of influence, right? So someone mentioned in the chat that it was on Twitter. Twitter means nothing, because the first thing they tell jurors in this case is stay off of social media. So the banner being on
Okay.
social media means nothing. They would have to have
So
some level of proof that either a
mhm,
juror saw that banner or reasonably could
right.
have seen that banner.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. A juror would have to come in and say, hey, judge, I don't know if you know or not, but it's a plane flying that says free R. Kelly in the sky.
Right.
And then that would be like, okay, who did this, da da da. And then, because if that juror saw it, other jurors probably saw it. Okay, I got it.
Right,
I got
right.
it.
And
I
truthfully,
got
free
it.
R. Kelly, I mean, again, in my humble opinion, that's a hell of an argument to make, right? That the words free R. Kelly is meant to influence the jury. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Right, right. Okay, well, thank you again for your knowledge and your grace. We do appreciate you. I know for a fact the Dream Team, we do appreciate you for coming and being, so open and being able to give us so much input. So thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Brooke.
Diva.
You're welcome, mommy.
Have a good
Thank you,
evening,
Brooke.
ladies.
Yes. Hello, Truth Strong. How you doing?
Hey,
This is
I'm
a
good.
non R. Kelly supporter, one of my team sisters. This is Truth Strong. Say hello.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you? Thanks for coming, just to clear a lot of things up for us. I did listen to the last live, but I was in and out, kids, husband, cooking, that kind of stuff. Um, but I did go back and listen to the replay. Also, but I didn't capture one thing, and Brooke actually brought it back to my attention. There was a lot of bloggers in this R. Kelly case who reported on it. Some went way too far. Once this case is over, or at any point during this case, can a blogger be prosecuted for intimidating a witness, or just like going too far, or is there any law out there that they can be prosecuted for? Because a lot of times they say, oh, freedom of speech. And I think there's a difference between freedom of speech and harassment. I mean, if you're cursing someone out on the internet every day for 2 years, and it's the same witness, and it's a problem. Is there anything they can do about that?
Yes, absolutely. So there is definitely a difference between your right to freedom of speech and cyber stalking someone or cyber harassing someone. And it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have to be after the trial. If there are bloggers who are consistently cyber stalking other people because they're on the other side of this issue, constantly sending them unwanted messages, constantly going onto their social media and leaving, disrespectful comments, things like that, that is cyber stalking. And that is actually a federal crime, right? Because you're on the internet threatening someone. So any type of behavior that makes someone feel like they're being watched constantly and their livelihood is being threatened, their survival is being threatened, that is always illegal. And it doesn't matter if there's a trial going on or not. Now, as far as tampering with a witness, not necessarily, right? Because remember, when you're in the criminal world, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So beyond a reasonable
Okay.
doubt really means that the prosecution has to exclude every other practical / reasonable version of events, right? So to prove tampering with a witness, the prosecution in that case would have to prove that this blogger was actually contacting witnesses and trying to somehow change their testimony. So that's kind of a little beyond just being a blogger, right? That's a little bit more. But as far as
Mm.
bloggers contacting other people online consistently, leaving mean comments consistently, that is cyber stalking, that is cyber harassment. And you can file a complaint with the FBI or the Department of Justice for that.
Wow. Because recently I heard a recording online, and this recording, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Not even far as even them harassing the witness or anything, because I've seen them harass this witness over and over again. But the issue was that the recording was someone who was very close. I mean, like very close to R. Kelly, like one of his best friends or whatever. And they're talking to this blogger about the witness, and they're like relaying to the blogger what to tell social media regarding this witness based off of what's happening. Mind you, the person is with the witness, they're still hanging around the witness. So I'm like, I think it's just going a little bit too far.
So you mean this person is giving information about this witness to someone that
Yes,
is close to
like
R.
for
Kelly?
instance, what happened? Right. What was said basically was, I guess one of the witnesses left R. Kelly, and they went off because they
Yeah,
thought
she was
she left him.
doxxed. What
And
happened was one of
apparently,
the bloggers. I'm sorry to
huh?
truth.
Go ahead,
I'm
'cause
sorry, truth. Let me just.
I
Let
don't
me
know how
just.
far. No, it's just that I don't
I'm.
know how far I can stay on the internet.
I'm gonna just break it down short. I'm gonna say it real quick. What happened was one of the
Okay.
bloggers doxed. One of the bloggers doxed the one of the young ladies who was with R. Kelly, who left, who became part of the racketeering act. She's victim number 5, and they wound up blowing up her car and trying to bribe her for not testify against R. Kelly. So this is the explanation she's trying to give you, because one of the bloggers actually put out the parents' business information or place of residence. I don't remember exactly it was. Go ahead, Truth.
Right. They put out their personal information. Now all these recordings are dropping about all the stuff that was happening behind the scenes. Everybody was recording R. Kelly's friends, and now they're playing it on the internet of what was really going on back then. And it's I'm like, somebody gonna get some charges around here? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so what you described definitely sounds like, now what you described rises to the level of tampering with a witness for sure and intimidating a witness. And that is also obstruction of justice, right? So first you're trying to sway the witness, you're intimidating the witness, and then you're also stopping the investigation and the case from being able to move forward, allegedly, because if this witness in fact drops out, then that affects their case. Now, they would have
Well,
to, of course,
the person for bribery got charged already, and the person for blowing up the car, they were already charged. They're not bloggers,
so this is the
but
blogger who,
the
no, go
bloggers,
ahead, go ahead.
they played the recording of certain things that shouldn't have happened, and it's just a lot. And they were posting inappropriate pictures of her on the internet all the time, and they said that it was okay basically because I guess she actually originally posted it. So then they would post it and do foul things to the picture, like sexual things to a picture
Yeah, one of them
of
even
a,
said that she was a prostitute.
Okay, so what you're describing with the tampering with her pictures, that is definitely probably enough for some type of cyber harassment and cyber stalking.
Now,
Okay.
as far as the
I'm just
bloggers getting involved in this case, there are a couple of them I told you that are mentioned in motions. Now, is there any way
right.
that they can be charged with some type of tampering or anything like that?
So in the instance she gave me where you have a blogger who was allegedly giving information to someone, and then that person was
Like,
using that information
oh, I can't
to
hear
tamper
you.
with a witness, that blogger could be charged. But of course, as I always say, they would have to prove that the information they received was information that was unique in some way to this blogger, meaning this blogger is the only place they could have gotten this information, right? Because he's not the person that's actually blowing up her car or doing whatever to her. So they have to link him to the act. So, for example,
Oh, so
if he
that's why
gave,
she didn't get in trouble. That's why
there
she
you
didn't get in
go.
trouble, Truth Strong, because of the fact
Mm,
that she wasn't actually linked to it.
okay.
Being that
All right.
Williams actually
So,
went
hello?
and
Can y'all
Googled
hear me?
her address, that's why he got linked to the crime. But Miss Hamburger didn't. Am
Hello?
I correct?
Diva, you cut off. At least for me, you did. I don't know if everyone else heard you.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry
I
about that.
couldn't hear anything either. That's why I was like, hello, hello.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
You can hear me? Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. What I had said was, being that Hamburger, I'm just gonna say that name, did not
Hmm.
wasn't actually the person who Mr. Williams got the information from. That's why she wasn't linked to the crime. So therefore, what she did wasn't part of the case. So they couldn't link that.
Correct. They would
Mm,
have to
okay,
find
that
a
makes
link. So, for
sense.
example,
But
when you're talking about addresses being exchanged and things like that, if these addresses can be found in any public means, or I should say by any public means, it's going to hurt the case because then they can't prove, like I said, that uniqueness that she was really giving them information that links her to this crime.
okay,
Right.
right, that makes sense. But as far
Yeah,
as them doing
that's why
sexual,
they got Williams. That's why they got Williams, Truth, because they actually found him what do you call that? They found him Googling her address.
right? But as far as the harassment of the witnesses, they could still go after them for that, especially about them doing sexual things to their pictures over and over again.
Yes, that could definitely be, but someone has to file a complaint. So the
Okay.
person whose picture is being used would have to initiate the investigation by filing a complaint, like I said, with either the FBI or the DOJ, and saying, I'm being cyber stalked, I'm being cyber harassed.
Now, us
Okay,
as viewers on YouTube,
ex-
if we see that and we report it to YouTube, do they become responsible at any point?
before you answer that question,
No,
1 second. Before you answer that question,
I'm sorry,
Brooke,
that's my last question. I swear.
that's fine. Brooke and Keep, be patient, guys. Don't drop off on me. Let Truth finish.
I'm
She's
about to get
almost
off.
done with her question. Okay, go ahead, ladies.
so YouTube is not required to do anything about it.
Okay.
I imagine that they have some, I guess you could say, hierarchy by which they use to kind of decide when something is serious enough that they're going to take it to the next level and give it to the FBI or the DOJ. So they could,
Hmm.
but there's no law that really requires them to do so.
Okay. All right. Well, you've been excellent. I'm going to let the other ladies come up because I'll sit here and talk to you all day. But
Thank you.
And I said I
I
was giving
really
people
would.
2 minutes, but being that there's not
I'm
too many
sorry.
people asking questions, it's okay.
I forgot all about the 2 minute rule. Thank you.
It's okay. We freestyling now. I love you, Truth.
Love you too, sis.
All right, bye. Thank you. Okay, next is I'm gonna put Brooke back on, and then Keep, and then Missy in that order.
Hi, I'm sorry. I forgot one. I had one more question. That was actually my first question, and I forgot it.
Damn,
Um,
that was a long first question, Bruce.
well, my question was, okay, so as we've been reviewing the case, as we all know, there has been several motions in reference to R. Kelly receiving no bail. Now, unlike others, myself, because I am a blogger and Diva and a lot of the other bloggers who actually have read his indictment, it clearly states in the indictment towards the end that how, basically how this stuff is being written up, that he's not going to get a bail, especially because of the charges. Of course, you still have some other people who were like, no, it's because of his attorneys. Could you explain that if it's either the attorney's fault or is it the way how the government, I'm sorry, my son background, is it the government's way of writing up the charges, or is it the attorney's fault in reference to him not getting a bail or getting denied bail each time he goes up?
So I have actually read the transcript for the hearing, the bond hearing. So I can say this, from what I read, his attorneys did what they should do. They made an argument for him to be released, and they made all of the arguments that were there to make, right? He has a family, he has ties to this community, he cares about his family and his career, he's not going to go anywhere. But the prosecution made all the arguments they should have made, which is he's facing some serious prison time. Part of the indictment allegations are that he travels to commit crime, allegedly. So why would you allow someone who has the means and the resources to travel, leave, and trust that they would come back when they're facing potentially the rest of their life in prison? So both sides made the arguments they should make. His attorneys, in my opinion, from what I read, did what they were supposed to do. And the reason that he was not given bond is because usually you don't get bond in those kinds of cases. When you're being accused of doing this level of federal crime, when it comes to transporting witnesses and things like that, they do not give you bail because that is the ultimate flight risk. You were transporting people that you were allegedly victimizing, so you can definitely transport yourself.
Okay, thank you, because
That was
I
a good
actually was
question.
saying, yeah, I said the same thing. I just didn't have confirmation, but after reading everything and then reading what their argument was for when they rejected, they gave the points in there. They said one, two, three, like they said why he's not going to be able to get bail. So
Exactly.
a lot of people
They
just
said very
didn't
clearly.
comprehend. Yeah,
Right.
they
I think a
they
lot of
just
people
swore us
just,
down,
yeah, I
you
think a
know.
lot of people, like you're saying, just didn't understand. But he didn't
Right.
receive bail slash bond, however you want to refer to it, because the
Mhm,
charges are just too serious, and his financial prowess and his
mhm.
notoriety is just too high to believe that he would really come back to court.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not coming up no more. I'm
Right.
going to support from the
Love you
from
both.
the chat. I love you more,
Thank
honey, and
you.
have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello, Keep. This is Keep. She's a non R. Kelly supporter, another teammate, sister of mine. Say what's up,
Hello.
Keep. Keep. Are you there? I don't know what happened to Keep.
Hello, I was on
Oh, there
mute.
she goes. Okay.
I was on mute. Hello, how y'all doing?
Good, honey. Good.
Good, good.
Good, good. Okay, so I do have two questions. This is my first question. This is piggyback off True Strong. There were three men that was charged with witness tampering and obstruction of justice. That was Michael Williams, Richard Arline, and Donnell Russell. Donnell Russell was accused of calling in the bomb threat for surviving R. Kelly. I'm pretty sure Diva gave you the documents on these three guys. And the reason why I'm saying that because Judge Ann Donnelly combined their cases with R. Kelly back in October 2020. Um, so far, Michael Williams and Richard Arline pled guilty to those to the bribery. Richard Arline was for the bribery charge. Michael Williams pled guilty to burning one of the witnesses' car and try to set her family's home on fire in efforts for her not to testify or give any information regarding the case on the prosecution side. Are they able to use their plea agreements in R. Kelly's case?
So, what R. Kelly's attorney should do is file a motion in limine, which Diva had mentioned to me that she thinks only two motions have been filed. But these are the
Mhm.
kinds of things that you file a motion in limine for. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the motion in limine, it's a pretrial motion that is filed by an attorney. in which you say to the judge, I do not want this thing or these things to be allowed to be spoken about during the trial. And then you give some reason why this thing should be inadmissible. So what they should be doing is making the motion that all of these pleas with these other people and their obstruction of justice cases should be inadmissible during R. Kelly's trial. The obvious argument is that it's going to prejudice the jury against R. Kelly, right? It's going to make them think that if these people did these things and they say he told them to do it, then he must be guilty. That's kind of the obvious argument. So will it actually come out? We don't know, but his attorney should be making sure that it doesn't.
Okay, now these cases were now they pled these guilty pleas under Judge Ann Donnelly, who's presiding over the case. Now, is there a difference with that?
No, because remember, these cases are submitted to a jury. So the only way that that would matter is if it was what's called a bench trial, meaning that Judge Donnelly was making the decision. She was rendering a verdict. There's no jury, right? Then it would matter because you would say, well, she's prejudiced. She already knows. But she's not going to be the person rendering a verdict. It's the jury. So it doesn't matter that she knows.
Right. Yeah, they didn't go to grand jury. They just pled guilty. There was no indictment or anything. They just pled guilty.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to send her those indictments, but I will definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So just to let you know, they didn't go to these three guys in particular. Well, Donnell Russell's going to trial in 2022, for his part in these crimes. But Richard Arline and Michael Williams, they pled guilty under her, under her judgment, whatever how y'all call it, and that, I'm kind of lost train of thought. I'm sorry. That's what basis they didn't go to grand jury. That's what I want to say. They didn't go to grand jury. It was no indictment. They, whatever came out behind the scenes, these guys ended up pleading guilty.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. Now, when they plead guilty right away, Miss Esquire, does that mean that, like, as soon as they get caught, they say, look, I'm guilty, just give me a plea deal and I'll tell you everything I want to know? Or is it that the federal investigators pressure them?
It could be either or. It could be that they knew what they were facing, right? It could be their attorney told them, hey, you're facing this, you're facing that. And they said, oh, no, let's go make a deal. Or maybe they...
You went out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't hear what she said.
Your mic went out, Mama. Maybe you should jump out and come back in, Miss Esquire. Great question, Keep. Like, seriously, it's a lot. But I am gonna because I'm giving her pieces of the puzzle little by little so we can kind of just go back in time before his trial. You know what I mean? So I'm starting off with her with that, with the original indictments with R. Kelly, and then we're gonna get into other things too. So yeah, I got plenty of things to go with her. Okay. Miss Esquire says your device is not connected, Mommy.
It's well, I've been following it for 2 years, so I have no choice but to look at it from both sides and look at it holistically. So that's why I asked the question.
Yes. I how I feel too. I think he's guilty. Miss Esquire says device is not connected again. Why is that? It says you need to connect your mic. It was saying something about how mic or device is not connected. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so we're kind of like going to go back in time for a little bit in the meantime and talk about stuff as it comes out as well, being that he's so close to trial. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
And this trial is going to be explosive, y'all.
Everybody's been following it for 2 years. I mean, and what's been taking place in this small world, it's...
Hi, I just want to apologize to Diva and the chat. My cup runneth over with people who call me only when I'm busy. So my phone has been going with people that I haven't heard from in God knows how long. I'm like, who is this? And this is when they're calling.
They hating on you, Miss Esquire. They know you hanging out with me. That's what it is.
I mean, my good. And then calling back to back. I declined the first one. They call again. I'm like, what is going on here?
You sure it's not a scam likely?
Oh boy, I tell you, people just know. They know when you're trying to do a good thing and they just want to block you.
That's them devils working. Let me tell you, there be some bloggers out here doing voodoo, girl.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where were we? Because I don't want to hold up the
Go ahead,
line.
Mama. Go ahead. Your last question, keep again, was about the charges with the other gentleman, right?
Well, that was the first question, but that's the only thing I could remember. But I was just waiting for her response to what I was asking about how two of the three men that has been charged with bribery, bribing a witness, and trying to burn down her car and her family's home in effort to not testify or give any more information regarding the case. Um, can their test not can their testimony, but can what they pled to be held against them, basically? Hello.
Miss Esquire?
So when you say held against them, what do you mean by that?
Well, let me start with Richard Online. He was charged with trying to bribe one of the witnesses for not testifying and giving more information regarding the case. What you know, was the one who was in relationship with them. This was the Jane Doe number 5. Okay, and that was the she met him back in 2015 when she was 17 years old, and he was trying to bribe her into not giving the feds any more information, and they had him on the phone taps as far as him not bribing. So let me start off with him. He pled guilty to his crimes. Okay. And remember when I said that those three gentlemen that was trying to obstruct and witness tampered that particular witness, is their cases got associated with R. Kelly's. So what, with their cases or trying to obstruct the witnesses in this case, how much of that is going to be used in his case is what I'm asking.
Oh, okay, right. So you remember when I was telling you about motions in limine, and I was saying that his defense attorneys should be making motion after motion regarding all of these pleas and arguing that they shouldn't be included in the trial, and that of course the government would want to try to include as much of it as they could. So
Mm-hmm.
both sides should be making arguments before the trial about things like that, about other pleas of co-conspirators, of accomplices, also about past prosecutions that R. Kelly might have had. All of those things should be in a motion in limine. Now, some attorneys take for granted a lot of these things, and they think, oh, the judge won't let that in, and they don't make motions in limine. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
agree with that. I think best practice is to include those types of things in a motion.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned about the motions because that was actually my second question. Can you it was and somebody actually asked this in the chat. Can you describe what's the difference between motion and lemonade and motion to suppress?
Okay, so a motion in limine, right, is where you're saying there is something, like I said, either some, not necessarily a piece of evidence, right, but something else, something that has occurred in relation to this, and I don't want it included, right? A motion to suppress has to do specifically with evidence that was retrieved, usually by law enforcement, and that is now trying to be brought into the case. So here's an example. You would motion in limine to get rid of these, I'm going to use a random name. John Smith is my co-defendant, and he already pled guilty. I would try to motion in limine to have his plea not mentioned. That's an example of a motion in limine. Now let's go back to the same John Smith example. Let's say John Smith and I were accused of conspiring to traffic drugs, right? And my attorney thinks that the drugs were actually the fruit of an illegal search. That's a motion to suppress. That's a motion to suppress that says, hey, these bricks of cocaine should not be allowed into the trial. None of the lab reports from this cocaine should be allowed into the trial because it was illegally seized. So a motion to
Right.
suppress has to do with evidence that is seized the wrong way. A motion in limine has to do with something usually that kind of sort of relates to the case that you just don't think should be mentioned because it's prejudicial.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Keith.
actually got one last question. I'm sorry, I got just one last question. Just one,
Go ahead,
maybe
honey.
two
There's nobody
last
else
questions.
back here. Until somebody, go ahead. You can ask another question. Then it is what it is. Go ahead, Mama.
Okay. I need you to explain to the public, who, especially people that's watching in the bushes, um, what's a basic skills form of due process?
So due process is a lot of different things, but the gist of it is you have the right to effective counsel. You have the right to what's called a quote unquote speedy trial, right? So you shouldn't be kept in prison for this endless amount of time before you're brought to trial. You have the right to know what you're being charged with, and you have the right to confront the witnesses against you. That is the gist of your due process rights in a criminal case.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, is
So
that wait? Is that the 3500 material?
I don't know. I don't.
The 300, the 3500. What is it? Giglio material
yes, giglio material. Yes.
and Brady. That you were
Oh, you're
saying with
talking
the
about Giglio and
statements.
Brady.
Yeah, what's that have to do with?
Okay, so Giglio
What
and
does that do with
Brady,
due process?
right. So Giglio and Brady are not necessarily due process. Really, Giglio and Brady have to do with prosecutorial misconduct. So, in other words,
What's
if
that?
right, so prosecutorial misconduct is when the prosecutor
I
in the
love
case
you.
does something that is quote unquote bad or wrong, right? And so Giglio and Brady pretty much say if you, as the prosecutor, comes across some piece of evidence or anything that you think could prove that the defendant is actually innocent, you have to hand it over to defense attorney. You can't hide it, you can't bury it, you can't pretend you never saw it, or that's misconduct, and we can throw out your entire case for that. So it's not as much of a due
Wow.
process issue, in my opinion. It's more
Oh,
so of a prosecutorial misconduct issue.
okay. So now he was denied bail, like 12 times, perhaps. Does that violate his due process that he got, bail denied 12 times? Is that a denial of his due process?
No, not at all. You don't have the right to bail. And as I mentioned, in these cases, yeah, you're
I'm
definitely
being
not getting bail in this kind
sarcastic.
of case.
Diva will tell you.
No, I can tell. I can tell you're being sarcastic. Yeah, no,
I'm
you don't have the
dying.
right to bail.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So can they excuse the judge because she didn't give him bail and she even denied his appeal? Can they excuse the judge from the case because they feel like she's being biased by not giving him bail? Like those type of things?
You're really funny.
You listen, you have to ask these questions.
Yes,
So I'm
because
going to
out
tell
here
you guys
people are very
something.
misled. Out here people are
Yes.
very misled. Very
Oh
misled.
wow. I'm
Yes.
disheartened to hear that, but
I love
a
you, Miss
sad thing that
Esquire.
I have discovered, oh, I'm so disheartened to hear that. But a sad thing I've discovered is that people prefer lies to the truth. So here's the truth about judges and recusal. It's one of those weird words. So judges have this very, very overarching immunity. Whenever they're making any type of decision in a case, it's considered to be their discretion, their expertise, and you cannot try to recuse a judge for exercising their discretion in a case. So, for example, any type of, let's say you brought a case because you slipped in and fell in the supermarket, and you kept asking the judge if you could rewrite your complaint. And the judge told you over and over again, no, I'm not letting you resubmit a new complaint. No, no, no. The judge cannot be recused for that because he or she is exercising their discretion in your case. Now,
Okay.
here's an example of when they could be recused. Let's say you ran into your judge out and about, and your judge said to you, oh, you're just lazy. You just sue the supermarket because you don't want to work. Well, now you could say the judge should be recused because they obviously have some bias towards you, right? I mean, obviously. So
Okay.
judges cannot be recused for exercising discretion in a case or in a case decision. They can be recused for expressing discrimination, bias, or something along those lines, but they have this very broad right to judicial immunity whenever they're making case decisions.
What about if the judge was related to someone who was, let's say, part of the Me Too movement?
Right. I thought you were going to say part of the indictment. I was going to say obviously, but part of the Me Too movement. That's kind of vague, right? You probably would need a little bit more. You'd need related to someone who's a victim in the indictment. You need something that strong to recuse someone.
That's why they couldn't get Judge Donnelly off the case. See?
Yeah, it's not at all easy to recuse judges. I mean, I've seen judges really flat out be discriminatory, and then the victim goes to appellate court and proves discrimination. And when they remand and send the case back to the lower court, they send it back to the same judge who discriminated and just say, "Judge, don't do that again."
Oh wow! So they just give her a pat on her ass and go, "Okay, keep
Yeah,
going."
just don't do that again. Don't discriminate again. Yeah.
They gave her a little pow pow and said, "Okay, honey, just continue your work." Well, that was
Wow.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for the donations.
I just thought I asked the questions that the people in the bushes want to know, because that's what they're watching for, right?
Right.
And it's another question. So boom. So now you got these victims, right? They just minding their own business, because that's just what people should be doing, minding their own business. So boom, they take a selfie, like, boom, I'm happy. Boom, I love life. And you got these YouTubers try to pass up to the lawyers, like, oh, look at that. She said she's happy, so she's not a real victim. Can that be used in the court of law, and how?
Wow.
Oh yeah,
So
they say
yeah,
that too.
someone.
Just to let you know.
I
I'm
mean,
just giving you
I'm
information.
blown
That's
away
all.
by that comment. I mean, I shouldn't be blown away by it because there's all different types of people in the world, but wow, that blew me away. So just because someone is allegedly a victim of sexual abuse does not mean that they cannot have healed from that, right? And have some level of happiness in their life. So the court would
Thank
not
you.
view that
Thank you.
as someone not being a victim. Now, what I will say is
Right.
anyone who may be a victim in a case like this, if you're listening, stop posting on social media.
That's true.
Not because you can't post that
I
you're happy,
agree.
but because you may accidentally post something that could be used by the defense. So for example, let's say I am accusing a person of abusing me in some type
Miss
of intimate
Esquire,
manner,
Miss
right? Yeah.
Esquire, Miss Esquire, I'm gonna throw a question. I mean, a scenario at you.
Yes.
What if one of the victims decided to start ripping up R. Kelly's coat online,
Yeah, yeah.
saying that she don't give a f about him? Fuck him. He abused me, and everybody is supposed to be happy that he abused me, and I'm supposed to act like a victim. I don't understand what's the problem. Say, for instance, a scenario like that.
Yeah, yeah. She ripped up his coat, took the scissors, boom.
So here is what I will say on that. Is it proof that she wasn't a victim? Of course not, right? It actually leans towards her actually going through something that was really traumatic. However, if R. Kelly's defense attorneys have anything more than an empty room and a rubber ball bouncing around up in their head, they're going to argue that that alleged victim is unstable because that kind of
Oh man, 'cause they
behavior
put that in
can be
emotion.
pointed
They put that
to
in
as being
emotion.
unstable.
They
Hmm.
put that in emotion.
They did. They did.
There you go, because that's the first thing I would go for. Every time a victim acted up online, I would say, "Oh yeah, oh nice. That's another emotion. You're unstable. You can't even control yourself online."
Wow. What do you think about attorneys interacting with bloggers and trying to squash bloggers' beefs and starting a whole R. Kelly defense fund?
That's a lot. I don't know. There's a weird trend nowadays of attorneys not keeping their cases offline. I guess there's some new belief that you should, you know, first take your case to the internet and then take it to the court. And I don't agree with that. If I was the attorney involved on either side in this case, I would have nothing to do with what's going on social media at all.
Right. Professionalism.
Yeah, it's a rare gem nowadays. Professionalism is a rare gem nowadays.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of codes of ethics, right?
And some of those code of ethics do have social media, like with lawyers, counselors, psychotherapists. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Judges.
like if there's social media is a part of the code of ethics in there. So if they adhere to those, what involves social media, then it wouldn't matter because they would have been, said something about that because they've been doing that for like 2 to 3 years. They
Yeah.
talk to blogs like TMZ and The Blast and different people. So
Did you get to watch the Gail King interview by any chance, Miss Esquire?
I saw the famous parts of it. I've been using some of the euphemisms from it. I'm not gonna lie. So I've seen, for example, I saw the way past part because that part was
Oh,
just
that's my
gold.
favorite line,
So I've
girl.
been using that. Whenever people try to come at me, I'm like, that was in my way past.
Girl, that's my favorite line, Miss Esquire, I swear.
So I saw some of the important parts of it, and in my opinion, it hurt him. And I don't know who agreed to that. I don't know who told him that he should do that.
Greenberg and his AKA publicist, AAA KKK crisis manager.
A crisis manager told him he needed Olivia Pope then because
Girl, he's
that was
hold up. This crisis manager is a crook. Girl.
yeah, that he needed a better crisis manager because there are some situations in which your client speaking can help. But as I always say, in my humble opinion, this is not one of those situations. When you're dealing with a man being accused of intimate crimes in this Me Too era, I think the best thing is for him to not say anything at all.
Right. I have Classy J TV up here. She's another
Okay.
blogger. And she also agrees that R. Kelly is guilty. Say hi, Classy.
Hi, how are you? I am really enjoying this live and I'm glad to see you here. Thank you for coming, first of all.
Thank you for
Um,
coming as
Hello,
well.
thank you.
I have a question. I've been following this case for 2 years, and I'm sure you've heard it all tonight. There's a lot of bloggers and blogging and some true, some untrue things going on in social media. It's actually affecting the case. So there is, I would say, a couple or at least one particular blogger that has stepped over the line and over the boundaries. Do you believe that the government will deal with them after the R. Kelly case, or could they be prosecuted for trying to hurt the case, in other words, and try to influence the media?
So, when we looked at some of the information from the Department of Justice, we found out that they had been investigating Mr. Kelly for what, 20 years, right? And so, if
Yes.
there are bloggers who are doing illegal things in relation to this case, they're going to let it play out. Yes, they're going to watch them throughout the trial and maybe even thereafter and develop their case. And then when they're finished with this trial, then they will start going after those people.
And the other evening, this is on the same subject. Judge Joe Brown came on and he was talking to one particular blogger about, flying a banner over the courthouse to try to influence the jury is illegal, but yet she has collected money and have done this and continues to do this, and she's going to do it as the trial comes on. Could she be prosecuted for that kind of doing that?
So as I mentioned, it depends on the argument that you can make and what evidence you have as far as whether or not what she did actually influenced the jury. Because what I'm hearing is that the banner just said free R. Kelly. It didn't say find R. Kelly not guilty. It didn't say, witness
It
A is a
actually
liar.
said
What did
it
it say?
actually said it actually said R. Kelly was set up for monetary gain.
Okay. That's a very different from Free R.
Yes.
Kelly. That's a very different.
Yes.
So, um, R. Kelly was set up for monetary gain. Yeah, that's a problem, especially if they can prove that, as I said, a juror either saw it or it's a reasonable belief that a juror could have seen it.
Well, I just hope that, because these bloggers do watch the replays if they're not in the bushes now, that they're listening to this broadcast because they're putting their lives and selves in danger. But on that note, I will let someone else come up. Have a good evening, y'all.
You too. And yes, they are
Thank you,
putting
Classy.
themselves in danger. And at the end of the day, you guys, both sides of the case are doing their job. You have the prosecution doing their job, and you have defense attorneys doing their job. And the jurors will make a decision. For someone outside of it to risk your livelihood and your family to get personally involved just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, right. Thank you, Classy. All right, guys. So that was great. We have been on for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Um, T Baby, can you do me a favor, sweetheart, and drop the link in the chat, please, to your stream? So yeah, thank you so much, Miss Esquire, for being with us for 1 hour and 40 minutes, lady. We love you.
Love you guys too. Always ready to come back whenever you like.
Yes, awesome. We love it. We love it. We love it that you love it here. And I hope that she was able to answer everyone's questions. Um we will come back another day. Me and her are trying to find out information about something that was brought to my attention by Miss Esquire about Pornhub and this class action lawsuit that's going on with the company. So we're going to try to investigate on that and kind of give you guys that information as well. She might even be talking about it on her channel. If you guys can, please go to the description box. And if you would like to follow Miss Esquire, her link to her YouTube channel is there. And thank you once again, everyone, for your donations. If you would like to give donations to me and the guests, my Cash App is DivaDivineLight. You can also PayPal me at DivaDivineLight. And the first letters in the word, like diva, the D is capital, everything else is lowercase. The D in divine is capital, everything is lowercase. And the word light, the L is capital, and everything else is lowercase. And that goes for the PayPal as well. Okay, I don't want anybody to get anything confused. I'm going to try to see if I can click this link from here. I'm trying to see if I can click a link. Okay. T Baby, I would like to for you to come back up onto the panel and we can talk about your showcase. I'm trying to find the link again. Let me see if I can find it through my email. Okay, give me one moment, guys. Okay, T Baby, I got you up here. Just give me one moment. I'm going to pull up my information for you.
Okay.
In the meantime, I guess you can explain what you do.
Well, first, let me apologize for my voice. I do not have a voice today.
Oh
Uh,
my God, my love. I'm so
I know.
sorry. Whisper
I,
if you have to.
I'm going to keep on going. This little rheumatoid arthritis and all this other stuff, thyroid issues, it's not going to keep me down because I'm getting ready to do something that's just so awesome. Um, all right.
You good, T baby? There's no sound. T baby?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now, sweetheart.
Okay. Um, did you hear anything I was saying?
No, sweetheart. Repeat yourself again, mama. You went out.
Okay. I was apologizing for my voice. I don't have a voice today, but I was able to play hooky, so that was good. Um, but I just wanted to thank you, Diva. You are so awesome. You have a huge heart for allowing me to come on your channel and explain my event that I'm going to be having in July. I have a nonprofit called Black Talented Sisters, and this will be my second event that I've conducted in Lexington, Kentucky since I've been here. I started in 2019, and my first event, I basically joined a local barbershop to supply kids with free hairstyles and free haircuts. And I got another opportunity to do an event. I am collaborating with an organization called Casa of Lexington, and they are court appointed advocates for foster children. And they're calling it a continuing education class. So it's basically going to be a 2-hour event with me teaching the basics on how to take care of children with Black hair, African American hair. Um, I'm going to be totally honest with you all. My first event, I had no idea what I was doing. I just felt it. This time, I really truly feel like it was meant to be. In 2016, I've been going to school, first of all, since like 1995. I've been taking college classes, but I'm still doing it. But in 2016, I was going to school and I had an assignment for school, and I ended up having to interview someone at this Casa of Lexington. And when I visited and I wrote my paper, I did all that. I printed out an application, and for some reason, every year I would go through my paperwork and I would always just put this application to the side. Don't know why. I even filled it out, but I never sent it in. And this year I went back to school because of Mr. Larry McGee. I don't know. He did a live one day and he was just like, y'all do something. Everybody get together, do something. You got this business. And I listened to him with my old behind. And I went back to school and tried to do something with my nonprofit.
You
So,
go, mommy.
so I went back to school this year. I finally figured out I wanted to do public health. So I ended up having to do another assignment. And shockingly, well, not shockingly, because like I'm one of Jesus' favorites and all that stuff. But anyway, it happens that I ended up doing another assignment. It was with the same organization, but this time it was with the executive director. And she offered me an opportunity to do this 2-hour event. And the way she explained it to me is they have so many children in foster care. And unfortunately, majority of those children are African American. And they are living with not that diva, the poster. Just not just that one diva. Don't show nothing else. But anyway, I got another opportunity to do the event this year, July 24th. I'm going to be showing foster parents and advocates and volunteers the basics, basically when and how to just the basics. Um, I thank Diva for allowing me to get on her channel and explain this because it means the world to me. And now I think I know exactly why I kept that application. And at the same time, I love all of you and I wish you all just continue to pray for me. My health is up and down, but it ain't nothing I can't handle. And because I am Jesus' favorite, I know he got me. This time, I just need support and a lot of feedback. I love feedback. Anything and everything you can give, I will accept it. I would just love for you all to support me, maybe join the Zoom. I got so excited. I started months ago and my mother don't watch YouTube, so I can say I spent over $600. But when I tell y'all my bags are the bomb, I'm so excited.
See, baby, send me the link again through text message so that I can put it in the description of the video here, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So basically I just need support, feedback after it's all put together. And I am planning on proposing another opportunity. It depends on how well this goes. She explained to me like they have come a long way, this organization, and they actually have almost an advocate for each of different ethnicities and races. So that's a good thing, and I just felt like, I'm not a professional, but I know how to do hair. We all know how to do hair. We all did it in the kitchen at grandma's house. Auntie did it. I know I can show them the basics. And to be honest, I tested it on my mother. I called my mother one day before I actually decided to do it. And I said, when you see white people at the store, and I'm going to be blunt, I don't have filters. It is what it is with me. And I said, when you see white people in the store and they have a black child and the black child hair don't look good, what do you think? She said, that don't make no damn sense. And I said, exactly. But what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? What you gonna do about it? Yeah, we know it don't make no sense, but what you gonna do about it? So then it was like, okay, yeah, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. So right now I'm just looking for support, but I do plan on proposing another event, depending on the children that attend this event and the families, whatever race, ethnicity, culture they come from. I do want to, I know I can't afford this by myself, but next holiday, I want to prepare a dinner for the children. Another concern was, a lot of these children are moved into good homes, but they're in rural areas. They don't get to eat the snacks that they used to. They don't, get to eat the food that they used to. And I think that's another way for me to step in, and my goal is to get recipes from all over the world to at least accommodate the children that's going to attend this dinner in their family. So that part, I'm gonna be begging somewhere. I haven't gotten my stuff together yet, but thank you, Diva, and please look forward to seeing Diva's beautiful queen in this little presentation that Diva better not play because
I
nobody
won't. I
hasn't seen
won't.
it. But thank
I
you,
was going
baby.
to. I'm so glad you stopped me before I did. Girl, I was so pleased for you. You already know I'm ready to go for you. I'm ready to go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
I,
Mama. And I'm gonna put T Baby's Facebook link, and you can follow her Facebook channel. And please support her and all that she's doing. She's trying to do a great thing for the community and our children with crazy hair. Because I know my daughter got crazy hair, and my baby girl is one of her models, and she's got a lot of beautiful children there with different types of hair textures, and she's got solutions. And she's also, I think you're selling bags, right?
well, I'm not selling bags, but I felt if I was going to talk about it, they don't know where to get the product from. They're not close to any stores. So, yeah, I went crazy. Like I got curl brush. Y'all want to know what I got? I got curl brushes. I got short brushes, regular brushes, wave brushes. I got
Nice.
wave caps, stocking caps. I got shit.
Okay.
I got the trial size like shampoos and conditioners and
So what is it? So you put a bag together and send it that way with products?
so
How does that
basically
work?
during the presentation I have these little cards made up.
Okay.
So I'm like really basically going to go through hair type and then go through, how to wash and then how to maintain it, like protective styles and grease and covering it. I have bonnets, I have water bottles, I got shower caps, I got everything. I'm passing out notebooks and I have these poster cards where when I talk about the child's hair type, they can fill it out and I'm going to try my hardest with, the products that I have to match, the hair,
Okay.
to the product to the child's hair. At least send them home with, a couple of different products because we all know we can't just go in and say, "Oh, girl, I use this one product." It's like, yeah, well, I use this one, and then these other two I use. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just figure, yeah, it's gonna be like they're gonna be
You're dope, sis. We love
giveaway
you.
it's gonna be giveaway bags, but everybody gonna be wanting to come to my event because my bag's gonna be dope. Yeah.
Yes. I can't wait. I already registered, so I just can't wait for the event. I'll
Thank
be
you.
there.
I'm so excited. I'm
Me
nervous
too.
excited, but
You got this, mama. You got
yes,
this.
ma'am.
You got this.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
All right, love you,
I
Diva.
love you, mommy. And we'll talk behind the scenes after this, okay?
Okay, but when you get famous, like, am I still gonna be like, you gonna change your number and stuff? When you doing
Bitch, no, I'm not one of those. No,
it's
girl.
okay. I got
No.
your address.
I'm
Love
not an
you.
egomaniac. I love you too. Come stalk me. It's okay.
All right, love you, babe.
I love you, mama. Good
Bye
night.
bye.
All right. Well, guys, that was exciting. Yes, that was very, very exciting. I hope that you guys were able to get enough information from Miss Esquire. Um, I hope that she, answered your questions as best as she could, in the simplest way that she could. I hope you guys were taking notes, writing shit down. And please don't forget, guys. Don't forget. Subscribe, like the video, please. Thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure. Once again, thank you for all the cash apps. The donations are very much appreciated for me and my guests for our hard work and our time. And please don't forget to check out our sister T Baby 42 and her new upcoming business, Black Talented Sisters. And I will, like I said, I will leave the information in the description box, if you would like to go check her out and register to watch her presentation. That would be awesome. Please support our sisters. And anyone who is a content creator, you can please drop your YouTube handle in the link, and everyone go subscribe and follow. Thank you. And once again, guys, I love you. God bless. And have a wonderful, wonderful night. And Diva is out. Peace.